Hi everybody, Creative Katie, Karen Burchill here. Welcome to my channel. Today we have a craft room organizational video. Behind these doors, I may just have the answer to your craft room storage needs. I'm standing just inside my newly organized art studio. There'll be a video coming very soon showing how I organized this studio, and I'll be giving you some tips and tricks. So be sure to subscribe to my channel and select the option to be notified of upcoming videos. But today, I want to show you the second part, because outside my studio, going this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps away is my solution to storage, the art closet. So this art closet, I think, is a solution for those who, like me a few years ago, did not or do not have a dedicated art space and is probably creating on the kitchen table. But where do you store all the mixed media art journaling supplies? May I suggest the art closet? So I have repurposed our front closet as an art closet. Now, the stuff that I'm storing in here is kind of overflow from the studio. This is suiting my needs, but I will address how you can use this same solution if you need to store all your mixed media and art journaling supplies. You won't believe how easy this was to do. First, there was a wire shelf and rod. I simply removed those, I left the brackets, and we stored the shelf in the crawl space below. It'll be put back up probably when we move. Then I assembled the Edsel Garage heavy-duty shelves. They're very easy to install. Once assembled, I moved the shelf into the closet. As I said, the shelving unit I purchased from either Home Depot or Lowe's. It's called the Edsel Heavy Duty Shelving. I've noticed a similar one at Canadian Tire. I've even noticed a similar looking one available on Amazon. Now this one measures 72 inches high by 36 inches wide and 18 inches deep. And it fits perfectly in this closet space. As I said, we assembled it outside of the closet and moved it in. The shelves are all adjustable, so you can move them up and down, make them bigger or smaller to fit whatever storage containers you have. I've, of course, set mine up to work with the storage containers that I have. Now, at the top, on the very top of the shelf, I have stored my cradled wood panels, large canvases, large MDF boards, large canvas boards. It goes way up high, so this is the perfect place to store these things where they can't get damaged. Then in front, I have some tin cans that are already primed and ready to be decoupaged, spackle, my varnishes, and some prompt sticks. Now I know we like being able to use the furniture we have, the shelving that we have. We like to make do. But sometimes the shelving that we have isn't exactly perfect. And we end up getting more storage, more furniture than what we need instead of getting one unit like this that can do it all. So this Edsel shelving unit cost about $120 Canadian. So I think it was good value for the money. The shelves are particle board, and there's no problem holding considerable weight on here. In fact, they give a weight level saying each shelf can hold over 300 pounds, I think. But don't quote me on that. We'll come back to the first shelf. Now on the second shelf, I have 3 Sterilite containers, and I have another 3 Sterilite containers on the bottom shelf. These measure 16 by 11. They're not too big, but they're not too small. And it allows me to sort in a meaningful way so it's easier to find. Now, at one time, I had all my different substrates in one big Rubbermaid tote. Now I'm able to, with these smaller totes, break them up into smaller ones, which saves on my back and makes it easier to find. So in this tote, I have large substrates. So 8 by 8 wood panels, canvases, that kind of thing. In the middle one, I have smaller substrates, smaller wood panels, smaller canvas boards, mixed media boards, my 4x4 magnets. And then over here, I have metal substrates. Now, the small substrates is the bin that I use the most, and that's why I've put it in the middle. With the 3 bins across, you might notice it goes past here. So the 2 on the sides are a little bit more difficult to get to, meaning you have to take out the middle one. So I put the small substrates, which is the bin that I access the most, in the middle. It is the easiest to get at. Now going down, I have another 3 of these Sterilite containers. Over here, I have card making. So all my card making, watercolor cards, cardstock, foam board that I use when I make my cards. In the middle, I have books and journals, mini composition books, journals that I do the covers and sell at craft fairs, mixed media journals, and things that I turn into journals. And then over here, in this last one, I have all the supplies that I need to make my mixed media kits that I sell. Now these Sterilite containers I love. They are clear in that you can still see what's inside. But I love the teal color. And every year they come out with different colors. Now, one thing to note, the lids are very easy to snap off. Sorry. And then I can pull the tote, put it on the floor in front of me, or take it into my studio, find the substrate that I want, close it up, and put it back on the shelf. Now you'll note there's a bit of an indentation in here, and that is perfect for resting another storage bin. This one is from the Dollar Tree. It fits perfectly and doesn't move. And it allows me even more storage. In this one, I've got the P-Touch, which is how I've labeled all my containers. And if you want to stay organized, I recommend getting a P-Touch or some way of labeling all your containers. It saves so much time, not only locating the supply, but also putting it back when you're done. In this bin, I have finished projects, so I can come here for inspiration, or these are things that I may give away. Over here, I have works in progress. I've got mini composition books and magnets that are partially done, and I need to add a focal point. So I'll have a work session and I'll be adding focal points and sentiments to them at some point in time. And again, these are supplies and things that I make to sell at craft fairs. Now on this shelf, which is a smaller shelf, I have 4 Rubbermaid totes. These measure 10.5 by 7. And I've got excess napkins, seasonal napkins, plastic packaging that I put for my craft fair makes, lace patterns. And again, there's room on top to add more storage with these dollar store baskets. Now these are the same baskets or similar ones that I have in my studio. So everything that I have in here will also work with what I have in my studio. And I've been lucky enough over the years to get different products that are very similar in color. Now on this shelf, this is my go-to shelf, and that big teal bin in the middle contains a variety of substrates. I've gone and taken out some small substrates, maybe some large ones, as well as some notebooks, canvases, and all of that is in the bin. I've got cardstock, I have some card bases, watercolor cards in there. So when I want to create those things, I just have to grab this bin, and I've got a selection of those in here. When I deplete those, I will go down to the card making bin or the small substrate bin and move a few canvases or cards to the bin. So most of the time when I'm accessing what's here, I'm coming to this bin or that bin. I also keep some items that I picked up at Dollar Tree for upcoming projects. They kind of sit in there to remind me that I need to or I want to create with them. Over here, I've got this tote that I picked up at Michael's. I have one in my studio where I keep all my paints. This one I grab and fill with whatever I'm taking on a create date with my friends. I can add paints, stencils, stamps, whatever project I'm going to work on. Now over here in this Rubbermaid tote, I have hanging supplies. I've got a hammer, I've got drill bits, I've got wire to wire up canvases and wood panels. Again, in preparation for art that has been commissioned or for my craft fair sales. Up here, I've got 2 bins that are dedicated to putting items from my studio in here that will find their way into future possibility packs that I sell at Ninny's Napkins. Just a word about the lower shelf. Put things down here that are heavy so you don't have to lift them up. So this books one that contains all the journals, super heavy. I don't want to have to lift that and hurt my back. I even can put a Dollar Tree hanger here and hang my paint aprons. Now, this is set up with my needs in mind, but I did think, how would I set this up if this had to hold all my mixed media art journaling supplies? So I took all of this stuff out, or most of it, and played around with the items that I have in my studio to see how I could use this same shelving unit for that purpose. And I took some pictures to give you some ideas of how you might be able to use this shelving system to store your mixed media and art journaling and creative supplies. If you don't have a closet, but you have some square footage in a bedroom, this shelf can sit in a bedroom and still meet all your crafting storage needs. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have a storage solution or a question, put that in the comment section below. I love my art closet, and I hope you do too. Stay tuned for the pictures of other ways to organize. So here's a pic of the Edsel shelving unit without any supplies on it. And here's another way that you can build it and configure it, should it fit your needs better. So on this shelf, I've left the Rubbermaid totes, but I've added the white bins. There's 3 in the front, and there's another 3 of those white bins in the back. In here, I've got focal images, I've got collage papers, ephemera, sentiments, all sorts of things that I would be using on my page. If you have them in a bin, you can easily take that out, bring it to your table, use it, and then return it to the shelf. You can just see how much stuff it holds. Now underneath that, I have my paint caddy. That's actually all my paints that I have usually sitting on an IKEA stand. Then I have a couple bins from the Dollar Tree, and on the right hand side I have my 6-inch stencils that I store in scrapbook binders. It all fits. So here's a look at the whole thing. Above it, what I've done here to add even more storage is added a shoe rack that I got from Walmart. It allows more, taking advantage of the vertical space and you putting in more bins. This unit I actually have sitting on my craft table in my studio. You can see on the left-hand side, I've got my 12 by 12 stencils in the scrapbook pages, and on the other side, I've got binders that hold napkins or printables. Here's a close-up look of the shoe rack and all the bins that you can slide in and take advantage of that vertical space. All the bins come from Dollar Tree. Here's another way we can organize them. We've got my 12 by 12 stencils on the one side, the binders in the back that are either having my napkins or printables, and a selection of the Dollar Tree bins. I even have the teal bin that I use. So I hope the ideas I've shared with you give you something to think about, and that maybe this is an answer to your art room, craft room storage problems. I absolutely love it. It makes everything easier.